People assume the worst family fractures happen loudly. Mine happened beside a half-built crib. I was tightening screws with one hand while balancing my phone in the other when I saw the photos from Hawaii. My mother smiling under a straw hat, my father holding some neon-colored drink near the beach, my sister captioning everything with palm tree emojis and phrases like "final escape before reality." For a moment I genuinely thought the trip had to be old photos posted late. The baby shower was that weekend. My wife Nora was 7 months pregnant and exhausted all the time now. We'd spent the last 3 weeks preparing our apartment between work shifts and doctor appointments. Nothing expensive, just careful. Careful was all we could afford. I texted my mother anyway. "Are you still coming Sunday?" 10 minutes later she replied, "This holiday is not for us. You're not even a real family." I read it 3 times, not because I misunderstood it, because the sentence sounded prepared somehow, like something discussed privately before being delivered publicly. Nora noticed my face immediately. "What happened?" I almost lied. Instead, I handed her the phone. She read the message silently and placed the phone face down on the couch cushion without speaking. That silence hurt more than anger would have. For a while we kept assembling the crib anyway. That's the strange thing about emotional shock. Sometimes your body continues performing normal tasks because stopping would force reality to settle fully into place. I remember tightening one screw too hard and splitting part of the wood slightly near the base. I stared at the crack much longer than necessary. My parents and I shared a joint financial account at the time, not because we were wealthy, because years earlier my father's medical debt and several bad refinancing decisions nearly collapsed everything. I had decent credit, stable income, and enough guilt to keep helping long after the emergency ended. Over time, the account stopped feeling temporary. Like many unhealthy family arrangements, it survived mostly through avoidance. That night after Nora fell asleep, I opened the banking app. $15,000 sat inside the joint account, mostly my contributions, emergency reserves, automatic bill protections, vacation buffers, the kind of invisible financial scaffolding families stop noticing once it becomes reliable. I kept hearing my mother's message in my head. Not even a real family. At one point I closed the app completely, then reopened it 20 minutes later. I wasn't angry yet, just suddenly aware of how exposed I still was to people who had emotionally stepped away from me long before I admitted it. The next morning, I called the bank. The representative spoke gently, professionally. "I need to dissolve a joint account," I said. She walked through the verification process carefully. Then came the sentence that made everything feel real. "You are requesting full dissolution of the shared structure and revocation of linked access privileges, is that correct?" Shared structure. Interesting phrase. Like the bank understood something about relationships people themselves often refuse to name. "Yes," I said quietly. My hands shook afterward, not from triumph, from grief. By afternoon, the missed calls started. First my father, then my mother repeatedly, then unknown hotel numbers from Hawaii. Apparently several automatic transfers attached to the account had failed simultaneously. Their cards started declining during the trip because they relied on linked overdraft protections tied to the shared account. I didn't answer, not to punish them. I genuinely didn't know how to speak to people who had looked at my unborn child and decided he didn't count. A week later, they showed up at our apartment unexpectedly. My father looked smaller somehow. Not physically, just diminished. My mother cried almost immediately after I opened the door, though even then her first words were, "You completely blindsided us." Nora quietly took the laundry basket from beside the couch and disappeared into the bedroom without interrupting. I invited my parents inside because politeness survives strange things. Nobody sat down at first. My father kept rubbing both hands together nervously while explaining frozen payments, account complications, delayed insurance processing. Logistics. Always logistics first. Finally, my mother asked the question she really came to ask. "How could you do this to us?" And there it was. Not, "How badly did we hurt you?" Not, "Why would that message devastate you?" Just consequences. I looked toward the nursery doorway where soft yellow light spilled across the hallway floor. Then back at them. "You told me my child wasn't family," I said quietly. I believed you. Silence. Real silence this time. My father sat down slowly after that, like his knees suddenly stopped trusting him. My mother cried harder but differently now, less defensive, more disoriented. I think that was the moment she finally understood the message hadn't just been cruel, it had been final. I helped them sort out some immediate banking problems eventually. I'm not proud enough to pretend otherwise. But I never reopened the account, never rebuilt the old structure. Some distances, once named properly, stopped pretending to be temporary. Later that night, after they left, I stood alone in the nursery holding my sleeping son against my shoulder. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the baby monitor. And I realized boundaries rarely feel powerful when you first create them. Mostly they feel like grief with paperwork attached.